You're right guys, in this one...
What doing?
I'm doing the shed. What do you think I'm doing? I've got to do the roof on this as soon as I can get him in the house anyway. Description down below, there's a playlist if you haven't seen the other videos in this build. To board the roof, I used some 12mm OSB. I could simply mark the width of the roof and use the track saw to cut to those marks. You'll notice the saw is tilted to 45 degrees. That's to make it easier to get a close fit later. The track saw makes quick work of the cross cuts too. Of course, the shed needed to be moved so I could get round the back. Then it's just a case of adding the boards and securing them in place with screws into the rafters. So as you can see, I've put the longer piece on now for the front. If this angle wasn't cut, then this would be kicking out a little bit, which would push this forward. So just by putting that 45-degree angle, it gives me a lot of wiggle room. Next up was felting the roof. I used some felt adhesive to hold it down to the OSB. An old roller works great to apply pressure evenly across the felt. To help hold the overhanging felt in place, I used some felt nails. The real holding power comes from the decorative boarding. I attach boards all the way around using screws. This will help keep the felt in place and also looks a lot neater. I wanted to compare the cost of buying a shed to buying the raw materials and building the shed myself. Now for me, building was the only option as I couldn't find a ready to go 10ft by 2ft shed kit. I did manage to find 10ft by 3ft shed kits in the price range of £380 to £450. These only had one door opening on the narrow side though. Finding shed kits that had larger doors resulted in the price range jumping to £650 to £1,000 plus. These prices aren't including install either. So how much did this shed cost me to build? I ordered the framing timber from Arnold Labour. The total including VAT and delivery was £144.08. I had overestimated how many lengths I would need. I have 6 lengths of timber left unused, which cost me £22.32. So total price for used timber is £121.76. I purchased the cladding and OSB from Timberclick. The total including VAT and delivery was £205.20. I do have some scraps left over, but I still needed the whole amount ordered. Screws and nails were hard to account for, but I know I haven't used more than £10 worth of fasteners on this build. The hinges, latches, nuts, bolts and washers came to £43.35. The felt and adhesive came to £27.50. The treatment for the shed cost £13. Total cost for building the shed is £420.81. We also have to take into account the time it takes to make the shed. As you know, my health isn't great, which slows me down, but I would estimate it would take the average person a couple weekends to make this shed on their own. If you had someone to help you, you could get it done in one weekend. So that's it then guys, that's the shed finally done. Well, for the video anyway. As you can see, it still needs a floor, and I've got to board out the sides as well. But with the weather keep changing, I don't want to add too much more time before I can get this video out. So I'll do all this off camera. It's just a case of cutting to size and drilling and screwing it all into place. And then I can add my shelves to best suit my storage situation. Now I did have a few questions about the drainage. Well, obviously the shed roof slants backwards, and luckily this land, it's already on a slight slant, so we don't have any standing water. And then there's also drainage down the side which takes it down to a drain where our sink goes into. I also got a few questions about the security of the shed. Now obviously these are pretty standard on most sheds. I've got to add my padlocks to it. There's nothing in there at the minute, so it's fine. I did have questions about how easy the cladding would be to rip off. The only thing I can really say to that is it's not Fort Knox. If somebody wants to get into a shed, they're going to get into a shed. What you try and do is make it as difficult as possible and try and keep any chance of getting in without any sound to a minimum. If they want to get through the cladding, it's going to make a ton of noise. As you've seen, I've got Oscar, and we've also got a Bengal tiger as well. Alright, I'll feed you in a minute. So I'm pretty decent here. I've got my house security as well, so I'm pretty confident with this shed. I hope you did like this video, and I hope you found it interesting making this shed. I've showed you the prices of how much it would have been to buy a kit. For my situation, building was the best option. It might be different for yours, so make sure you do have a look around and check out the prices and stuff like that. As always, if you haven't seen the other videos in this series, the playlist is linked down below and it should be popping up on the screen somewhere soon. If you haven't subscribed already, click the subscribe button and then click the bell icon to get notifications, so when I upload my next video, you'll have a pop-up on your phone or an email. Thank you all for watching as always.